Oh boy, here we go, guys. It's actually happening. Look at what Trump has
What
to
they've
say.
done to this country is just absolutely terrible. But we'll end the left's campaign of racial discrimination and restore equality to our land and all over our land. And you see that happening so much with the vote and the kind of vote we got. Nobody ever expected anything like that. And I'll end all of the Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies across the entire federal government immediately. And at the same time, we will ban these unlawful policies from we're going to ban them from the private sector as well. In America, we believe in the merit system, and now because of the major decision handed down recently by the Supreme Court, our country has again gone back to the merit system. That's what made our country great. And I want to just thank the Supreme Court because that took a great deal of courage for them to do that. And some people were surprised by it, but that's what made us great. Merit made us great.
Yeah, man, that's right. So effectively, Trump is going to end the DEI mafia, because it is honestly no more to the Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, which actually discriminated against people. Because as you guys know, on paper, yes, it looks nice, but the problem is, as many of you guys know, the fact that because of these policies, many people do not have access to a job because they have to fill a certain quota. And if they don't fill the certain quota, they don't look at skill, they look at race, gender to reach that equality policy. And that's not a fair system. I'm very sorry, you may say that, oh no, but companies are making sure that's not happening. Yeah, give me a break. I mean, Ubisoft has its recent training programs which are only for women and non-binary women. So men who are biological men cannot apply to those programs because, you know, they're not women or they don't identify as non-binary. I mean, that's illegal, man. That's illegal. And yeah, it's crazy that it's actually happening, and we reach a point where in the world that we actually have to have this discussion. It's just crazy if you ask me. I mean, this is incredible that we are finally going back to a healthy world. I mean, look at this. Donald Trump declares wokeness has to stop. 9,900 likes, only 107 dislikes. So basically, the 1% of the wokies don't like this. The majority of normal people want it to stop. That's right. Yeah, and leave the kids alone.
Trump has wasted no time preparing America about what to expect when he returns to the White House. He declared that woke has to stop, insisting that it's destroying the country and essentially that woke is BS.
With the stroke of my pen on day one, we're going to stop the transgender lunacy, and we will keep men out of women's sports.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, such a basic concept. The biological men, of course, they're better than women in terms of sports because physically they have more muscles, they have more strength. It's just natural. You cannot allow men to basically compete with women and call it fairness because of the trans agenda. Just that concept. Just make the own trans category for trans people and job done. Easy, problem solved, right? I mean, that's what they should be doing, right? It's just incredible. So guys, this is great because this is going to save gaming as well quite a lot.
Freya, I think there are going to be a lot of relieved parents and relieved women hearing that message from Donald Trump.
For sure. And I think this is the courage that so few political leaders really have.
Damn straight.
It's easy now to look at Trump saying this stuff and be like, well, of course men shouldn't be in women's sports.
Yeah.
But that was not the consensus position. Even a couple of years ago, even a year ago, things were...
And she's right, because if you would say this, you would get frowned upon. Like, if you would say this, they will say to you that you're discriminatory, that you want to discriminate trans people, which is not the case. It's just that you want to protect women's sports as well, because woman is not fair for the biological woman, which don't have the same body mass as a trans man. I mean, that just makes common sense, bro.
So different, but it just shows you the power that courageous individuals can have and how we can actually turn around our culture. We really can. Conservatives often resign themselves to the backseat and say, oh, well, everything's just going to get more progressive and there's nothing we can really do about it, but try to resist as much as we can. But at the end of the day, it's a losing fight. No, we can actually turn the ship around. And I think the way Trump has come out so strongly against this crazy, radical, anti-reality wokeness, and the way he has been rewarded by the general public shows that conservatives need to get up off their butts and stop whining about always losing every fight, because they don't have to lose. We can actually win fights. And this proves if we're on the side of truth, if we're on the side of reality and common sense, we will win.
Yeah, and we saw that in the US, didn't we, Joe, with the election results. The pendulum really swung and people really rejected all this woke nonsense.
Yeah, and it's not just
That's right, woke nonsense. There we go, guys. There we go. Finally an end to this madness. And that's the thing, because like Intergalactic, like the Heretic Prophet, which actually right now the game actually has, I think Grooms put actually a post on this. It has more dislikes than Concord right now. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is crazy, right? This is 24th of December. Intergalactic on a PlayStation. This was like actually ages ago. Now actually has even more dislikes. Like has like 250,000 dislikes. Look at this. It's worst, right? I mean, this is 24th of December. 250,000 dislikes, guys. That is crazy. People are rejecting this woke stuff, man. And it's amazing that people are finally waking up and we're seeing a change in the paradigm, which is amazing.
It's not just conservatives as well. So there is just a huge number of people in the Labor Party who were thinking the exact same thing, but basically thought that they were the only ones thinking it and were scared to say anything in case they were cancelled or pilloried. They're back now. And again, Chris Minns,
the cancel fear. I mean, come on, man.
This is the embodiment of the sensible centrist Labor Party. And
do you know that America is actually the laughingstock of like other countries? Like people in Europe and people in Russia they laugh at America and look at how crazy they've gone and their woke policies. They're absolutely the laughingstock. They are the laughingstock of the world right now in America with their woke policies. I'm not exaggerating. It's the truth. I mean, it's just crazy.
He's done some fantastic things for trans people and the LGBTQ community, done things that, you know, if anyone else did them would be seen to be woke, but he's done it from a really sort of calm and careful and considered sort of sensible position. And I think that is the problem here has not necessarily been the issues themselves, but it's been the activists behind them. And it's been like what Freya said, where you have these people who care more about the sound of their own voices than they do about actually achieving outcomes, or indeed the vulnerable people who they might be pretending to represent, but where they just want an issue to fight for. They want to be on the forefront of something. They look around, you know, oh, we've got marriage equality for gay people. Oh, what's next? Trans. So now you have to accept that trans women are women, and if you don't say that absolutely, and again, that absolute dogma, absolutely all the time, no matter what, then you're transphobic, you're a bigot, and you have to be cancelled. And they get sort of ahead of these arguments.
It's basically like it's almost like a sect. I mean, it's literally it's a new sect, right? Where basically if you disagree with the people saying about trans people, and you have to accept what they're claiming, even if it's not biologically true, then you're the bad person. And until this point, it worked for them, but people had enough. And that's the problem. When people have enough, they rally together and reject the wokeness because it's actually ruining societies. It's ruining families because you cannot have a society of trans people. The birth rates would just implode. I mean, that's the problem. It just doesn't work.
And then they try to brainwash people and say, if you don't support everything we say, this new orthodoxy that we've spelt out, if you don't support all of it, then you're a bigot and you're on the wrong side of history.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. So they would go as far as saying that if you disagree with what they're saying, anything of what they're saying, you're already a bigot and you're a bad person, you're an evil person, you're a criminal. It's like, wait a second. So I have to agree with your ideology agenda just because if not, I'm the bad person. Like, who decides that? Who says I'm the bad person and you're the good person? Like, who decides that? Yourself? That doesn't work, right? That just doesn't make any sense.
And this is just progress. And so conservatives think, oh, gee, that's progress. That's what I don't want to, you know, end up looking like, you know, a white supremacist during slavery or whatever. I better just do whatever they say. And of course, if you are seen to cross them and they do pile on, as we will see later on the show, then it is just absolutely brutal and it's ferocious. And people who would otherwise be sympathetic to a lot of these issues, and certainly a lot of the people who are suffering as a result, just go, well, no, screw you all. If you're just going to run around marauding people, abusing them.
I like this comment here, which is amazing. Stop wokeness in films, TV series, and video games. And that's exactly what's happening, man. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen with these companies, but Ubisoft and Electronic Arts and PlayStation and even Microsoft, now they have to rethink their strategy. I mean, if Sony is crazy enough to release Intergalactic and Ghost of Yotei, which already had quite a big rejection, they don't know what's coming to them, because people are done with this. This was a really hot topic in 2020 when the woke madness and the DEI madness was like, everywhere, and people were getting loans and companies were receiving loans because they would fulfill these DEI agendas and stuff like that. That's gone. That's gone. Now we're back to meritocracy, which is merit. If you do a good job, you get good money, you get promotion, you get everything. If you do a shitty job, it doesn't matter what you are, you don't get it. Because at the end of the day, merit is what makes society progress. That's the thing. Merit is the most single important thing for progress. Not about gender, not about race. It's all about the individual, what they're able to do, what they're able to bring to the business. Doesn't matter what's their background. It's all about their ability. And this is what these companies have forgotten for such a long time. And now they're finally remembering. I like that Trump said that he wants to bring it to the private sector as well, not just the public sector, because they will force this and make it illegal to use these DEI policies going forward, because they are discriminatory and they just don't work. And we've seen it in many video games. The games actually flop. So guys, pretty exciting stuff. I cannot believe it, but it's actually happening. Trump is going to end the wokeness in the DEI, and games most likely from 2024 will be saved, because 2024 was the lowest of the low for AAA games, and we've seen it with our own hands. Star Wars Outlaws, Dragon Age the Veilguard, and there are more games. I remember now, Dustborn. I mean, there's more, Unknown 9 Awakening, Concord. I mean, there's so many games, right? Which, talking about AAA games, right? Which were absolute flops. So guys, that's it for today's video. As always, see you later in the next one.